right, hi everyone. My name is Candice Smith and I am your host for this evening. We're going to be starting in just a minute or so just hang tight. All right, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm very excited to be your host. My name is Candice Smith. I'm the founder and CEO at French Press Public Relations. We are a brand new PR agency where we serve visionary founders with a social mission. So before we begin, I would like to thank and introduce our sponsor and my client, Afshan Abbas of Fuchsia Shoes, for putting this event together. Founder Afshan is working to bring the artisan craftsman native Pakistan to a global audience while supporting underprivileged artisans. So Abbas and her co-founder Ramiz Sajwani partnered with indigenous artisans in Sangla Hill, Pakistan, who specialized in centuries-old techniques of cobbling and embroidering juti shoes. And today, if you visit their website, Fuchsia Shoes produces beautifully crafted, sustainable, ethically made to-order shoes and flats. So I am so excited and honored to be here with you all and hosting this panel tonight on the future of sustainable fashion with these visionary trailblazers who are paving the way. And so before I introduce them, just a little overview, we're going to be diving into sustainable practices, what is conscious consumerism, how 2020 has impacted fashion, and really looking to the future of sustainable fashion. So right now we're currently live on Zoom and streaming to Facebook. My colleague Neha is available in the chat box managing the chat, and we'll be sending along any audience questions if we have additional time. And if you're catching the replay, be sure to like, share, and tag us all on social media. So let's introduce our wonderful panelists. So here we have Elle Wang. Elle Wang is a New Yorker with a doctorate in public policy. She is also a UN advisor and strategist with a passion for creating impact. Elle has led negotiations and successfully forged global partnerships in global innovation, women's empowerment, and sustainable development in some of the most challenging parts of the world. She is the founder and CEO of Emilia George, a new line of sustainable, high-end maternity workwear for professional women. Elle has a plethora of experiences in personal investments and an advisor to startups. Next, we have Nicole Robertson, the founder and CEO of Swap Society, an online clothing swap for women and kids that makes it easy and affordable for members to mix up their wardrobes sustainably. Before she founded Swap Society, Nicole's passion for the environment led her to work as VP of Marketing for NASDAQ-listed bioplastics manufacturer Ceraplast. As a cosmetics industry veteran, Nicole has previously held several senior level positions for beauty companies, including Beauty Fix by Dermstore, Red Siegel Beauty, and Procter & Gamble's Reflect. Next up, we have Shivika. Shivika is an award-winning social entrepreneur. She's an advocate for conscious consumerism, and she is the founder and CEO of Veneka, a capsule wardrobe styling service featuring the world's most sustainable and ethical brands. Alongside women like Michelle Obama and Malala Yousafzai, Shivika has been honored by the UN's Decade of Women and the Panelists Project. Shivika previously spent a decade in marketing, growth acceleration, and strategy for global brands like Alex and Annie, Intermix, and Oscar de la Renta. Shivika has received numerous retail industry awards, including an Innovator Award, and she was named among the top 40 under 40 most accomplished high-level superstars in marketing. So you can find her work at theveneka.com. Tamara Laine is a leader in helping sustainable brands develop mission-driven content for actionable results. Tamara is currently the Chief Content Officer for Lynn Designs, which is a sustainable apparel brand reducing fashion and water waste with innovative manufacturing and design, and Sustainability ROI Impact, a curated community for global sustainability practitioners. Tamara is also an award-winning news correspondent and producer in New York City. She's hosted the financial documentary series Inflection Point, which profiled business leaders and prominent social impact issues. And she ushered in a new wave of news programming as a nightly on-air news reporter for Fox Broadcast News in 2013. So blown away by all of you ladies. You have been doing some absolutely incredible work in fashion, and I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. I would love to kick off this conversation with definitions. I am new to understanding conscious consumerism and sustainability and ethical fashion and fast fashion. There's so many different buzzwords, and due to inconsistent regulations, it feels like we really don't have any kind of globally recognized industry standard. So how do you define words like these, sustainability to start with? And do you have any suggestions on words we should be aware of as conscious consumers?
Absolutely. It is, you're absolutely right in that there is no, both from a marketing and an industry regulation standpoint, consistency in these terms. The way we think about it is sustainability really relates to a garment's fabric, and ethics relates to that fabric's or that clothing's impact on people straight from seed all the way to store. Um, some of the things we do at Veneka is we look at, fabrics that are organic, low impact, recycled, biodegradable. We also look at fabrication manufacturing techniques because we know that toxic dyeing and other pollutants enter community waterways and have an immense humanitarian impact. We also look at fair trade certifications, transparencies, and also ensure that factories that our brands do use don't allow, third party outsourcing, et cetera, et cetera. And conscious consumerism, we believe to be the application of a personal wallet to support businesses and services that have social and environmental solutions entrenched into them. It's really about the way the business works and how it makes a meaningful difference to our planet, rather than the traditional sort of source of charity for impact.
Shivika, that was a great, really quick way to look at it. And I love it. You're spot on with all those definitions. And it is really complicated that there's no consensus about this. The way that we've been looking at it at Aylin is really from a regenerative sustainability aspect, which is looking at the 360 picture of your business, right? So Shivika just talked goes into your fabrics, which is one part of building a sustainable business. The other part of that is your supply chain management. So, how you get things from A to B, right? What is the purpose of your business? How much CO2? What does your factory use? Um, all of those things need to be looked at when talking about sustainability. And I think that's where kind of this regenerative look, what do you do, some companies plant trees to offset their carbon impact. So there's so many ways to look at it, and you can't just pinpoint what sustainability is for a company without looking at that 360 picture.
And I'd love to jump in at this point as well. And, obviously looking at supply chain and fabrics and manufacturing and all of those things are really important for the industry overall. The piece that we're really tackling, though, is this, working to keep clothing in circulation for as long as possible. Because even if you buy only sustainable, but if you're not really wearing them until they're really absolutely falling apart, there's this whole other kind of level. The other thing that we do at Swap Society is we accept all brands, not just sustainable brands, not just designer or luxury brands. We also accept fast fashion or clothing missing the tags because we're really working to keep wearable clothing in circulation for as long as possible, regardless of its origin. And we're doing that because we see a lot of resale out there. It really focuses on designer and luxury brands for the most part. But people are still buying fast fashion, and you did ask about the definition of that, and that's really these kind of mainstream chain stores that are ubiquitous. You see them everywhere. They're selling clothes very cheaply. They always have something new. They're always pushing the new latest trends, collections, etc. And these are the companies that have really accelerated the way that women in particular shop for fashion, and largely responsible for this disposable clothing culture, which has created an absolute nightmare for our planet. So, the manufacture of apparel is very intense for the earth, but then what happens with all of that clothing when you're bored with it or it doesn't fit anymore. And so, and there's a stat that always blows me away from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is that every second a garbage truck of textiles is landfilled or incinerated. That's how much clothing we're throwing away. And so many people think, oh well, I donate the clothes to the local thrift shop when I'm done. And so I'm doing good for the world. But, less than 20% of that ever gets resold. And so much of that still winds up being landfilled or incinerated or packed up in bales and shipped to other countries, and where we're just pushing our trash onto other people. And so I think it's really important when we do talk about sustainability and ethics to also think about that end of life piece also, and what is really happening to our clothes when we're done with them.
I would actually like to echo that thought, because that's exactly what we are doing with handcrafted products in the circular artisan economy. But before I jump into what sustainability and ethics means for us as a brand, I'd like to give you a little overview of what our domain is, and it's the artisan sector that happens to be the second largest employer in developing countries after agriculture. Worth over $32 billion in business every year. Artisan activity creates jobs, it increases local incomes, it cultural traditions that in many places are at risk of being lost. Artisans are small producers. They're often women working informally, which too often means this is looked undervalued or underfunded economic sector with still untapped potential. So for us as a brand, we make beautifully handcrafted artisan shoes that are one of kind. They're designed for comfort, durable, and they are long lasting in quality. They come directly from the hands of the artisans. They're not mass produced in factory. In fact, our supply chain is based off organizing these groups of indigenous artisans, removing inefficiencies in the way that they have been making their crafts for years. So some of our artisans are literally working from homes to create fuchsia shoes. And the company is scaling this type of a production in such a way that we as a brand can compete with not shoe brands that are being made in shoe factories. We pay our artisans a respectable living wage income. In our case, is usually 3x more than what they used to make in the local markets, which is life changing for them. So really what stability and ethics means for us is seeking radical change at a systematic level. Our focus is on social justice. We elevate the value of creative artisan economy as use artisan economy as drivers of sustainable economic growth and community development. And then we also work with artisans to create their craft in a more responsible way, like making use of waste or leftover or found materials to create a product that is innovative by performing the alchemy of material transformation to a product of function and beauty that express a cultural value and tells a story.